Hey guys, welcome to the In the Mud podcast. This is me Ajay and that's Jacob. And today in our first ever episode, we'll be talking about the PSG Real Madrid games and the other games from the Champions League weekend that just happened. So if you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, welcome to the show. So right off the bat, we'll go to the PSG Real Madrid game. Kylian Mbappe, 94th minute in France, scores the winner.
His audition was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He had a good audition with Real Madrid. So we thought Messi probably would have a bigger role to play.
Yeah.
But then he'd come up clutch. But then Mbappe just shone. He outshone everybody on that team probably.
Yeah, I think we forgot about Mbappe a bit.
Probably because we were also under the impression he's playing against his future club.
Yeah.
He might not play well if he wants to join them.
And he's playing against a really good Real Madrid team.
Exactly.
In La Liga at least, after yesterday's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the main talking point of the game was, PSG pushed Real Madrid into the half. They didn't get a lot of opportunities to score, Real Madrid. And PSG came away with the win. They could have scored a lot more earlier. Leo Messi had a penalty that he missed, which Courtois blocked. And I think in overall, PSG really put Real Madrid in a very uncomfortable position throughout 90 minutes.
They did. For the first 20 minutes, if you remember, the Real were not out of their own half. They were in their own half. They were defending for their life.
Down.
Because that left wing was exploited so much by PSG. As in, every attack, I think, stemmed from that left wing from Mbappe's boot.
Yeah.
Somehow or the other, you would get the ball to him. He'd do a couple of step overs, he'd beat a couple of people, and he'll find somebody.
Yeah.
He'll definitely find somebody with his passing, or he'll at least have a shot on target.
He was putting Carvajal in a very
They had 21
position.
shots, they had 8 shots on target, whereas Real had 3 shots and none on target.
None on target. Wow, that's a great stat.
Yeah. So
especially when you have Benzema and Vinicius playing in your team. They've been in
with the
blazing form.
Yeah, with the form that they've been in, it was a big letdown.
I think you could see how difficult of a matchup it was on the left side when Dani Carvajal got substituted.
Yeah.
You could see it on his face.
he was happy that he was substituted.
He was glad.
Because he knew that he wasn't, he wasn't he
wasn't doing a good job.
No, he wasn't able to keep up with Mbappe. Yeah. Like the whole penalty, you saw his face after he fouled him.
He's like, I understand.
What do I do?
What more can I do?
Yeah.
And I think it's not, you can't always blame Dani Carvajal in that position because the left side was being flooded by PSG. And Carvajal, to his own merit, he only had Marco Asensio to help him out. And that was not working for Carvajal.
It wasn't working. That Asensio wasn't dropping enough with Nuno Mendes.
Maybe what I thought was PSG really pinned both of the wingers of Real Madrid down into their own half. Vinicius had to do a lot of defensive work.
Their fullbacks pressed high up.
Yeah.
They made sure that Vinicius and Asensio had defensive duties.
Yeah.
They pressed so high up and they pressed up even without the ball.
Yeah, and that's why when Real Madrid was trying to play on the counter-attack, and I think that's what Ancelotti thought he'd do coming into this game, which was, I understand for sure that Real Madrid wanted to play a very defensive game. They wanted PSG to have the ball and then attack on the break. So that's what I saw from throughout the first half. But the only issue was when they finally broke, Modric, Kroos, and the only outlet that they had was Karim Benzema because the other two wingers were really pinned down in their own half, and that outlets were mostly shut.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So the problem with what happened yesterday was they weren't afforded too much of space in midfield.
Yeah.
Like whenever the midfield trio of Casemiro, Kroos, or Modric, whenever they had the ball. It was completely shut down. They were shut down. They were literally shut down. There was always somebody behind them.
Yeah.
They were cutting passing lines also. Not just man marking. They were cutting those passing lines beautifully all together. The defense and the midfield, they pressed up, and the forwards, they pressed up together.
Yeah,
they
I think
pressed
that's
as a team. Yeah, they pressed as a team.
That's
yesterday.
a great point about the passing lines.
I thought Real Madrid would probably do more than PSG.
PSG, exactly.
I was of the opinion before the match started, Real would be the one pressing.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Ancelotti would play for a draw, or he'd want a draw, or he'd play defensively.
Yeah,
I thought he might take it on the.
Yeah, but then you can't blame him also. It makes sense. It's a rainy day. It's an away game. As you said, the France crowd is huge. The Paris
Ultras are crazy.
There's huge, so it makes sense as to why Ancelotti would want to do that. He wants to limit the PSG attack as much as possible.
True.
He wants to play on the break, and he's got 3 good forward players who can finish. But then the only issue was yesterday they didn't have two of them because they were pinned down in the Real Madrid half.
So they were contributing more defensively than they did offensively.
Yeah, this game
because they were pinned so much into their defensive half that whenever they got the ball offensively, it wasn't a lot of times they got it one.
Yeah.
And when they got it, they weren't sure of what to do. Because you haven't been attacking the whole game. You've been defending your whole game.
I did see gaps sporadically yesterday in the game. But then Real Madrid, they didn't have the ball awful lot of times and they couldn't capitalize on that.
They couldn't impose themselves on the match. Because PSG were running the match. PSG's midfield, that midfield trio of Paredes, Verratti and Diallo yesterday did a beautiful job. They ran the engine. I
think towards the end of the first half, Real Madrid were playing a bit of how they would have wanted to play. Because when PSG, I think they were attacking and there was this phase where they were not attacking anymore. They were deep in their own half. You could see Modric and Kroos and everybody coming together and play. But then that ended as soon as the half ended.
Yeah.
As soon as the second half ended, the game was wide open. PSG were all over the place. Sorry, the first half ended. The PSG was all over the place. And talking about Kroos, he didn't have a particularly really good game.
I don't think he's going to remember that match.
Yeah, there were a lot of missed passes.
There was a lot of missed passes. There was a lot of moments where you will just lose concentration.
He was unlike Kroos.
Yeah, he was weird.
Yeah.
Even Modric for that matter, even Casemiro for that matter. He also had a couple of poor passes and poor attempts. So overall, it was just, I think probably was not a good day for Real Madrid, or just Mbappe is that good.
Yeah, or PSG is that good.
PSG is that good.
But then coming to your point, I think this game would have ended in a draw if not for Mbappe.
Definitely.
Because he is the person who decided the game.
In 90 plus 4, if you still want to go ahead, attack, dribble, and he wants to score a goal.
And the way he scored the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
He beat two people of the season.
He beat two people. He went right between them and then met the keeper. He nutmegged Courtois.
For me, it was one of the goals of the season simply because of the person scoring it, the influence the goal has on the game, and simply because it was technically a great goal as well. He beat two players, as you said. He coming up big for Real Madrid, and the funny thing is Hazard was on the pitch when this happened. That's a very sad story on the other side.
Yeah, Bale was on the bench. That's a sadder story.
Yeah, it looked like a very defeated Real Madrid team yesterday trying to hang on. And I don't think anybody would have been surprised.
I don't think they expected the amount of pressing PSG were doing actually. Real probably were not expecting PSG to press so high up the pitch and for such continued and sustained amounts of time, no?
Yeah, but I think Real Madrid thought that they could handle it. But then it was a lot more than what they could handle. I think they were prepared to, face this attack. I think they limited Leo Messi. I think that was one of their game plans as well. But the problem is when you
limit one player, you have two others to hurt you.
Yeah, equally or better on the other two sides. But then Di Maria didn't particularly influence the game. But then one person who did was Marco Verratti.
He did. He had a very good game actually.
He was all over the place.
He controlled the whole midfield.
Yeah, he made a lot of tackles.
Yeah. He held the ball whenever it had to be held up. He found pockets of space. He found a way to maneuver between people and get the ball up, give it to Mbappe, let him have a run at it. He was like the whistle on top of a pressure cooker, right? Like he was the release of pressure for PSG yesterday. The outlet yesterday, because he could keep the ball with him. He could tackle if he wanted a stop in play, tackle or anything like that, like a technical foul.
Yeah.
Like he would do it. He provided all of those.
And he's not a big man.
No, he's not.
Yeah, that's the funny
for his
thing.
size, he's playing very good.
He's a tough player.
He's a tough player for his size. That too in defensive midfield when you're against like an attacker or a attack-minded player like Benzema or a Vinicius or a Kroos or a Modric. Even for that matter, you need to have tenacity.
Yeah, exactly.
Your tenacity has to come to the forefront.
Because these are big game players.
Yeah, they're big game players. So he played very freely also yesterday.
Even the whole PSG.
They were smiling, they were laughing actually.
Yeah, Messi was
in
the beginning before he missed his penalty.
There was a moment between Messi and Hakimi where Messi had a
they were jolly.
Almost beautiful through ball for Hakimi. He was clearing. Yeah. So they liked what they were seeing yesterday. They enjoyed the football they were playing probably, and probably this is the start of something new for PSG. If they build on this and if they can knock out Real Madrid over the course of the second leg And if you knock out a team like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, or a Bayern Munich, sorry,
It gives you the confidence to win the whole thing.
it gives you the confidence. It gives you that team morale inside your team.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we beat them. We can beat anyone.
Anybody. Bring it on
And
now.
when you have a starting lineup that potentially has Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
After yesterday's game, you take the combined 11 and you're like, I would put most of the PSG players in this combined 11.
you
Except
would.
for maybe Courtois, but then Donnarumma had a very silent game.
Yeah, he had no save to
He
make.
had no saves to make. So apart from that, PSG players who dominate the combined 11. And on paper also, head to head, they're really good.
There were only certain, as you said, certain moments in the game that you thought, oh, Real might have a chance. But then it was gone.
I think that those are the moments that Ancelotti wanted to capitalize on.
Yeah.
But then his team couldn't capitalize on those
win.
moments. I think PSG were a bit scared of Real Madrid when PSG were not inflicting a lot of pain as much as they would have wanted to with all the possession.
Yeah, there wasn't
an end product.
Yeah, there wasn't the finishing product.
Yeah, I mean Mbappe, Courtois did make a good save, but then apart from that, PSG were relevantly silent. So
their shots on target were also pretty tame.
Exactly.
It wasn't like extremely difficult for Courtois
it's not like
to
they're going to score at any moment.
Exactly.
It was more like, Real Madrid is not playing good.
But they were getting into those areas.
They were getting into those areas consistently. Yeah.
From kickoff, they were getting into those areas where you at least get a shot off. So those have to be alarm bells that Carvajal should have looked at before giving up with the penalty one. And then he got literally eaten up by Mbappe yesterday.
Yeah. Square face, and I think that Carvajal would agree with us.
Yeah, he would.
The penalty is just a testament of him saying,
what can I do?
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing I
he
can
beat
do.
me.
Yeah.
Do you want me to let him go?
Fair and
like
square.
he put in a challenge. Yeah, I missed my challenge.
And it worked out because
Messi missed it. That was yeah. But then, like you said, you told me before you threw the penalty. Like feels like he might miss.
He's not gonna score.
Yeah.
Like if it's Messi, it's probably because I'm a Ronaldo fan. But then you have a giant in goal. Messi is not that great with penalties.
Courtois was huge. When you look at the whole goal frame, he covered the whole frame. It felt like he covered the whole frame.
You can't blame Messi for missing. You can't say, oh, Messi, that was a bad. Yeah, it was a bad penalty though. It was a bad penalty.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty bad.
You hope Messi, puts that in the back of the net.
Yeah.
That was sad for him, but then was happy for Cristiano because he opened his. he ended his goal scoring.
Yeah, we'll talk
a minute
about
later.
We will talk about that
in the following segment. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But heading back to France, they go back to Spain the next tie. Do you see Real Madrid coming out of this and maybe winning the game?
From what I saw yesterday, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because if yesterday's PSG show up in the Bernabeu, I don't think there's going to be anything different that
but then
Real can do.
The only thing PSG has, the problem is forever they do this. The first leg they win and with huge numbers, and then the second leg they lose.
Yeah.
That's what they've done against Barcelona's and in the past. But then this is a very different PSG team. PSG was not the same club as it is today. But yeah, I think PSG is going to win the tie.
Looks
it's very
like
hard
it.
for Real Madrid to come
But then
back.
again,
It's football.
We're talking about football.
Yeah, maybe
we have no idea what can happen.
In 2 weeks, the exact opposite of what we said will happen. Because I thought Real Madrid was going to win.
Same. I thought Real was clear favorites and they were definitely going to win.
Yeah, but then this was a very high-powered PSG. I think Ralf Rangnick would be happy about this PSG team in terms of finishing and
in terms of pressing. They pressed the whole game, dude. Like it was fun to see PSG pressing up with the stars they've got and utilizing those people and having an end product. Like they didn't score a lot of goals, but then they were getting into some good areas. They were playing some good football.
Yeah,
they were passing the ball around much more faster, much more quicker, much more preciser, preciser with purpose than Real Madrid.
And I think Real Madrid initially wanted to invite that pressure, but then I think they were overwhelmed.
They were overwhelmed by the pressure, by the constant pressure. I'd say.
Yeah, it was a bit too much at the end.
Yeah,
and I think
I don't see them winning at how it stands now from what we saw yesterday.
It's very hard because you couldn't take anything positive out of the match except for the fact that Courtois is a really good goalkeeper and they have a good back line.
And they're going to get a very good player next season.
Next season. That's the biggest talking point of that game, I guess.
Yeah. But if PSG are willing to let go of Mbappe for nothing, I don't understand the whole concept of buying a player for 200 million or so.
I think it's out of your hands. I think PSG gambled a bit. lost the gamble.
Probably.
Yeah, lost the bet, and
Yeah, I don't know, bro. We'll see.
but I'm happy to see Mbappe at Madrid. I think he is one of those players that is born to play at Real Madrid. He's a big game player. He shows up in every big game. And yesterday we forgot his name, and that's what he does. And next week we're going to talk about it definitely. And those are the type of players that Real Madrid needs.
See, the whole fact is that when you talk about Mbappe, exactly, that the team is built in a way that if you forget about Messi, there's Mbappe. When you forget about Mbappe and Messi, there's Neymar.
Talking about Neymar.
There's Di Maria. There's a Euro Cup winner in Donnarumma. They have Nuno Mendes and Achraf Hakimi on both as wing backs.
Yeah.
Who are
Nuno Mendes on loan is a great player.
He's not on loan.
He's on loan.
Oh,
yeah.
Again, he's an amazing player. Nevertheless, even if loan or permanently, when you have such pace, when you have Hakimi and Mbappe on one wing, imagine the pace.
Yeah.
And then you have Neymar and Nuno Mendes on the other wing. So pace
Nuno
for
Mendes
pace.
and Mbappe and Hakimi and
Yeah, no. Yeah. More they keep switching.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, the whole pace, the whole idea of, and including when they incorporate pressing off the ball into the whole system of how Pochettino wants to play, I think if they keep this up, it's going to be very exciting to watch the Champions League.
I feel like this win was huge in terms of Pochettino staying at the club and Mbappe wanting to stay at the club.
With the whole uncertainty of him probably not being happy at PSG.
I didn't think that the players looked unhappy. Messi had a quiet game, but then Messi was trying to win that game. You could see that.
True.
Except for the penalty miss, he had a very decent game. Not Messi-like, but then a good game nonetheless.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
And he did miss a penalty, but then you don't take away what he did.
Yeah, he put PSG in winning situations. And I think you have to give credit to Real Madrid for keeping Messi silent throughout the game.
Yeah,
I think that was part of their game plan. But then, again, as we said, you miss out on Mbappe when you do that. Finally, PSG coming out of a very big game, finally, on the winning side.
On the winning side?
Yeah.
We'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Hey, they are a Champions League semi-finalist. They could have won the Champions League.
They're finalists.
The Champions League finalists. They could have won the trophy, and now they're back again. And this win shows you that they can beat anybody.
Exactly.
If they win this time.
Given on their day, they can beat
I think a Man City.
They have the firepower to do it.
Yeah, and I think you can go directly head against a Man City. You can go against Liverpool, a Bayern Munich. PSG has the squad. And yeah, apart from the next game, the Liverpool-Inter game, where we'll see a bit of what Liverpool looks like, I think PSG is a really serious title contender.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's very hard to win the Champions League. And Neymar coming back from injury will be huge.
Will be a big boost.
Yeah, big boost. And he did, like you said, influence the game yesterday a bit.
Even though it was very small, but then he did influence the game. You can see the difference when Neymar's on the field.
Exactly.
Things happen. Like the commentator said yesterday, like when we were watching it, things are gonna happen when you see Neymar running at you. There's something gonna be happening.
Yeah, if you're on the opposite side and you see Neymar warming up to join Messi and Mbappe,
bro, that's scary.
Whoever you are,
that's
you
scary.
you do think about it. You have to think twice about what it is you want to do. So I think Neymar has that effect, and the second tie will be even better for PSG because he'll be there.
Right. So let's see what happens in the second time.
So for me, the best player was Mbappe.
Mbappe definitely.
For Real Madrid, it was Courtois, plain and simple.
I don't think they had a best player. They didn't play enough to have a best player.
It's a very small sample size, to be honest. Yeah, so we'll go to the next game, which is, Man City. Right?
Cut.
Yeah.